Hey, hope you're doing well. It's Super Bowl Sunday. Before we get ready to watch the game, let's talk about the most expensive cards in packs right now. Scott Mines wrote this article on TCG Player. Let's get into it. The Pokemon TCG is somehow going through yet another renaissance, with coveted new releases reaching eye-watering prices and fan-favorite pocket monsters commanding hundreds of dollars each. We're even seeing a handful of physical bust-ups and safety concerns at the dawn of new release. Frankly, disgusting practice I'd hoped we'd left back in 2020. For better or worse, everyone is feverish for a pallet town of packs, and that momentum isn't likely to slow down anytime soon. When you take a look closer at recent sets, it isn't difficult to see why. There's several high-end versions of Pikachu EX and a flurry of evolutions, mixed in with special illustration rares for the best cards in the game. Together, that's turned recent releases into a must-have for players and collectors alike, and driven both prices and demand through the roof. If you're hoping to learn more about which terrestrialized jewels and pretty pocket monsters are bringing home the big bucks, then this article is for you. But first, we got to clarify some rules. We're only going to be discussing cards from big retail releases, so no event judge cards, no Pikachu with gray hat from the Van Gogh Museum, and no weird and wild misprints. We'll be looking at ungraded market price as the guideline, and that's that. So we'll start off with Ascended Heroes. New Year starting with a bang as Ascended Heroes burst onto the scene on January 30th. The first special set of the Mega Evolution series is literally the largest set ever. In English, we're always fans of the cardboard. That does mean that hitting a specific chase card is harder for this set than any that came before it. Ascended Heroes serves an amalgamation of all the coolest things that Pokemon learned throughout the evolution of Scarlet and Violet, paired with a sprinkle of their newer innovations. Inside, you'll find everything from Trainers Pokemon, Terra Pokemon EX, all of whom are overshadowed by, well, a shadow, I guess. Mega Gengar EX is easily the talk of the set, with players frankly going mad for even the smallest chance of finding the original bad boy of Generation 1. Thankfully, it's far from the only card worth chasing in 2026's inaugural set. At the time of writings, the SIR Mega Gengar EX is pushing $1,000 for an English copy, over $300 more than the notorious Mega Hyper Rare that typically captivates collectors. That said, Mega Charizard Y and Mega Dragonite aren't looking too shabby either, with both Golden Grails commanding a hefty price tag on the secondary market. Interesting, the Mega Hyper Rare variant of Mega Dragonite EX might not actually be the most coveted one. Slowly but surely, the SIR is charging past it on the marketplace. I've got to say, I'm a fan. The colors here are so vibrant. Everyone's favorite actual dragon looks like they're having a wonderful time. This is my personal grail for the set, and I wouldn't be shocked if that rang true for many others elsewhere. Both variants of Pikachu EX are proving to be fan favorites. The Scenic Charm and Light Greens from Buta's charming rendition contrast beautifully against Pikachu, while the terrestrialized throwback from James Turner will no doubt appeal to those who fell in love with prismatic evolutions not so long ago. Both cards command several $100s apiece, and you should be ecstatic to find them in your booster. Slightly further down the pecking order, it's Trainers Pokemon, who are mostly stealing the show with new artwork of Lily's Clefairy EX, the original SIR from Journey Together, and Zoroark EX, and just beneath those is Mega Feraligatr, working around $200. Next, we got Phantasmal Flames. It's become tradition for the second or third set each block to revolve around everyone's favorite orange lizard, dragon, and Phantasmal Flames did not disappoint. The second installment of Mega Evolution on the bookend on November 14th of 2025, helmed by the most infamous pocket monster of them all, adorned in black and blue Mega Charizard X. Phantasmal Flames also continues the trends established by its predecessor. You'll find Mega Evolution Pokemon EX inside a good chunk of your packs, and the faintest whisper of a Mega Hyper Rare to those with more luck than me. Unsurprisingly, it's those chase collectibles and the infamy of Charizard that dominate the price charts here. Yeah, the Mega Hyper Rare Mega Charizard X might be the rarest card in the set, but doesn't command the highest price point. The honor goes to the SIR, 3 times easier to pull, but making a value of about $630, while the Mega Hyper Rare goes for just under $400. The full art Mega Charizard X going for around $35 at this time. Phantasmal Flames also featured the first ever Dawn SIR, a fact that would inflate the price point of this iconic character even if it wasn't attached to a must-have tutoring trainer card. Mega Lopunny EX and Mega Sharpedo EX round out the heavy-hitting SIRs as 2 of the more playable options, catering to players who love to make those decks sparkle. There are also 2 IRs worth watching in the set. Piplup wins the most adorable artwork award that'll ravage my wallet if I wait to get it. This time around, Jiro Saosimo is best known for beautiful Leafeon EX from Prismatic Evolutions, and this little cutie is bolstered by an equally deep environment. I love them and would do anything for Piplup. Meowth is slightly more curious case. This card wasn't available in the Japanese counterpart to Phantasmal Flames, Inferno X. It was instead locked inside a starter battle deck that made it surprisingly difficult to acquire. It's much easier for international fans to acquire the Team Rocket mascot, but immediate demand has turned Meowth into the most expensive IR in the set. Keeping it rolling here, we've got Mega Evolution. The first expansion of the Mega Evolution series entered the airwaves on October 10th, 2025, heralding a new era of Pokemon to look forward to. Mega Evolution looks to take the foundational trends that brought success to Scarlet and Violet and build upon them with an impressive new rarity and groundbreakingly large Pokemon. The new Mega Evolution EX cards have stolen most of the limelight since release, with Mega Lucario EX and Mega Gardevoir EX highlighted across both packaging and wish lists alike. These new rule box Pokemon give up 3 prize cards when they're knocked out in exchange for otherworldly power, and replace regular Pokemon EX throughout the set. I have no doubt we'll be seeing more of them as Mega Evolution series continues. It's the brand new rarity that you really need to be watching though. The Mega Hyper Rare cards are a new addition in Mega Evolution, replacing the Hyper Rare rarity with an illuminating gold finish and detailed etching. Most notably, these are a different artwork. In Scarlet and Violet, the Hyper Rare rarity was a gold version of one of the full arts. Each one carries a new 4-pointed star as a rarity symbol and commands some serious cash, which is no big surprise when you realize these cards appear roughly once in every 1,260 packs of Mega Evolution. Mega Lucario EX holds the throne as the most expensive card in the set right now, but Mega Gardevoir EX isn't far behind. The special illustration rares of the headlining duo have actually received an impressive bump in demand because of how vibrant and colorful they are. Mega Hyper Rare might be the ultimate collectible, but solid gold is an acquired taste. There's a wealth of collectors simply looking to flesh out the most striking and robust displays you've ever seen, and this pairing is undeniably beautiful. Mega Venusaur EX is also befitting from this perspective, a fan favorite Pokemon with potential and jaw-dropping illustration from Mashu. Sign me up. Yeah, love that Venusaur. Love the whole line there. Mega Latias EX, Mega Absol EX, and Mega Kangaskhan EX round out the heavy-hitting SIRs. And Lily's Determination is the card I'd be watching the closest. It's expected to be a juggernaut at the competitive tables, absolutely, creating some absurd demand around the highest rarity variant. 175 might seem like a steal in the coming months, but there's only one way to find out. Alright, next we got Black Bolt and White Flare. This devilish duo first released in the middle of July 2025 to incredible fanfare. Black Bolt and White Flare combined to create the first ever dual set released in the Western world. Together they feature every single Pokemon first discovered in the Unova region as either an IR or SIR. If you're a Gen 5 fanatic, these sets are everything you could possibly ask for. Black Bolt and White Flare also received some addition, love, and attention as the grand finale of the Scarlet and Violet series. Players and collectors alike have been on this journey together since March 2023, but all good things must come to an end. In a year so full of nostalgic product, harkening to Black and White feels like a poetic bookend. That said, not everything can focus on the old. Black Bolt and White Flare brought a brand new rarity to the PokemonTCG, the aptly named Black White Rares. Reshiram EX, Zekrom EX dominate the headlines of their respective sets as the highly coveted and unique collectibles. They sport a unique textured monochrome finish that will make them stand out as the crown jewel of any collection. Unsurprisingly, they pack a price tag to match. But they're not the only ones. Victini has snuck their way into both sets as a Black-White rare. Unlike the legendary dragons, Victini can be found in both Black Bolt and White Flare, carrying a collector number 171 or 172, depending on where it's found. To the best of our knowledge, they're both equally difficult to find. In fact, we didn't find any in 700 packs. On the Black Bolt side, the SIR, Zekrom EX, Ends Plan, and Genesect EX are commanding a hefty chunk of change, with the former holding steady between 200 and 300, despite his Black-White counterpart. I'm personally expecting Genesect EX to continue climbing steady as the card gets older due to the popularity of the stellar cyber-infused artwork from Kantoro. This one's a really playable card too, so I agree. It's a similar story over in White Flare. Reshiram EX isn't being slowed by its rarer counterpart at all, with the jaw-dropping Hydreigon EX and Full Art Hilda both looking for a spot on the podium. I'm overjoyed to see the popularity of the SIR trainer cards in this set, even if my wallet may not be. Black Bolt and White Flare have unquestionably nailed the special and special set. The unique rarities and wide variety of Holy Grail cards will make the pair a release to remember for many years to come, and I'm particularly excited to see how Zekrom EX, Reshiram EX, and Victini age as the years go past. I've got high hopes. Alright, moving on, we got Destined Rivals. Destined Rivals claims the title of my favorite booster set this year. We've been waiting 21 years for the return of dastardly Team Rocket to the TCG, and Destined Rivals finally brings the infamous antagonists back into the spotlight. I distinctly remember watching Jesse and James blast off at the speed of light while I was getting ready for school, and masterfully beating back Giovanni in Pokemon Soul Silver. This set was tailor-made for my nostalgia muscles. Somehow that's not all. Additional much-beloved trainers are joining the fight alongside their most iconic Pokemon lineups. Cynthia, Arven, Misty, and Marnie may take a backseat to all the nefarious antics going on, but only if you're too focused on being the bad guy. In a set based so firmly in nostalgia, nothing was going to topple the SIR of Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX. No other Pokemon associated with the Team Rocket has the same level of real-world demand or franchise infamy. Mewtwo has always been portrayed as a tad villainous and incredibly difficult to catch, and this premium version from Destined Rivals is no different. A price tag of $500 feels worthy of such an important piece of Pokemon history. Cynthia's Garchomp and Ethan's Ho-Oh EX aren't far behind either. Each dynamic duo sports show-stopping artwork that heavily emphasizes the bond between trainer and Pokemon. I'm totally here for it. Personally, I'm going after the gigantic Godbird. Cynthia has ruined far too many of my Nuzlocke runs for us to remain friends. The majority of the remaining big hits come in the form of Team Rocket's other most recognized Pokemon. Moltres EX, Nidoking EX, and Crobat EX currently lead the chasing pack, but I've personally got my eyes on the SIR rares of Team Rocket's Giovanni and Team Rocket's Ariana. How can you say no to those beautiful faces? Alright, now we got Journey Together. Journey Together had a difficult act to follow, but it roared onto the scene at the end of March 25 unapologetically. The set brought the return of trainers' Pokemon cards to the trading card game, re-exploring the bond between trainer and Pokemon for the first time since 2015. Yeah, I actually liked the way this set came together better than Destined Rivals. Unsurprisingly, the heavy hitters of the set are the premium versions of those trainers' Pokemon. Lily's Clefairy leads the field with a price tag of $150, with Enzoroar EX, Iono's Bellibolt EX, and Hop's Zacian EX taking second and third. Even the hyper rare counterparts for these cards commanded a fierce price immediately following release. Who could have possibly known that pairing fan favorite characters from across the years with their most infamous Poke partners would be a license to print money. There's also a wealth of glamorous SIRs commanding a solid chunk and change. Salamence EX seems to be a popular choice and has previously recorded sales of over 180 each. It's come down to around $60. Just behind the gigantic dragon are Articuno and Volcanion EX, who were in heavy demand with collectors fresh out of the gate, now under $20. Great pickups, especially that Articuno. Personally, I've got my eyes on the incredibly majestic Wailord. Yeah, that Wailord card's incredible. Take a good look at that card and tell me it isn't everything Pokemon is supposed to be about. 10 out of 10, no notes. Alright, now we got Prismatic Evolutions. Great Gengar above, what a truly absurd set. Prismatic Evolutions will be the defining release of 2025 for Pokemon, with scheduled releases arriving thick and fast throughout the year. That hasn't slowed the otherworldly level of hype surrounding the set, though, with many of the flagship evolutions bringing in hundreds of dollars each. The big hit Umbreon EX 161, who is currently priced at $1,000. There's even a recorded sale at $2,000, which frankly puts the original wallet stealer from Evolving Skies to shame. Even the Master Ball foil counterpart consistently clears $250. This card is going to remain a holy grail for collectors for decades, and I cannot wait to see where it eventually lands. The other evolutions boast SIRs that carry jaw-dropping artwork. The cotton candy color palette of Sylveon EX and the crisp, symmetrical greens of Leafeon EX have earned both cards a place on the podium, but each and every one is a big-ticket item when compared to the rest of the set. Opening an Evolution SIR is like winning the Pokemon lottery right now, and I know I'm going to be trying all year. If Eevee isn't really your thing, there's still a wealth of beautiful cardboard for you in Prismatic Evolutions. SIRs for Celerej EX and Roaring Moon are currently rocking the market and are well worth paying attention to. These cards are gorgeous at face value and also provide competitive players with some heavily demanded bling for their decks. Similar story for Dragapult EX, who is holding steady at over $100. Last and by no means, we got ourselves a Pikachu. The hyper rare version of Pikachu EX is arguably too dazzling. This bright gold card shines brighter than my forehead and looks to have a similarly bright future when it comes to collectability. Alright, he's got Surging Sparks here. He's got Stellar Crown here and Twilight Masquerade. Alright, let's do that. Let's do Surging Sparks. Has aged like fine wine. Releasing back in November 24, this set brought some of the most unique and eye-catching artworks of the Scarlet and Violet series to a game store near you. The best cards in the set still garner quite the buzz, and that's not just because most of them are Pikachu. Surging Sparks was the debut of Pikachu EX and received a whopping 4 different rarities. While the base version and Ultra Rare are cute and snazzy, they can't hold a candle to the other two. The All Gold Hyper Rare does the best job at highlighting everything Pikachu, and the Hallmark SIR offers a wonderful watercolor interpretation of the little ball of lightning. The latter is no doubt the biggest chase in the set, holding steady at over 250. Lower down, we have a Latias EX, who clearly started off a little under-respected. The plane-shaped bird quickly fell following release, but is now soaring high. If you find one flying on the back of your booster pack, you're looking at a cool 150. The remaining big hitters are perfect examples of the spectacular artwork that can be found in Surging Sparks. The SIRs for Milotic EX and Hydreigon EX can be seen from another planet, and full arts for fan-favorite trainers Lycia's Appeal and Jasmine's Gaze stand out from the crowd in the classiest way. Even a Lowland Executor EX gets to join the fun with a warming swath of orange and blues. These cards are unbelievably pretty, and show the cards there. That's more than enough reason for anybody to want them. Next, we got Stellar Crown. Stellar Crown rocked the show back in October 24, introducing us to the cause of the terrestrial phenomenon that has since brought us so many highly coveted cards. Who was to blame? Terrapagos EX, who will also be your main source of joy should you find them in this booster packs, inside a booster pack. The SIR Terrapagos EX was the first to really utilize that now infamous watercolor palette to reinforce how important this Pokemon is. I mean, they're basically made of gems. It's so darn shiny. And the deep blues and subtle patterns, sublime. Honestly, this card is a steal at $40, and if you prefer to see it absolutely smothered in gold, Hyper Rare will more than happily do that. Somehow these aren't my favorite cards in the set. The alternate artworks for Squirtle and Bulbasaur are adorable, and therefore command the price you'd expect from a notoriously adorable thing. I just keep smiling when I look at them. I have never been as peaceful as Bulbasaur, and Squirtle is playing in a kiddie pool. For goodness sake, just take my money. The cuteness doesn't stop there. Dashbun EX makes me want to be a better person. Also, that pie looks delicious. I should probably tell you how awesome it would be to open a beautiful full art trainer like Briar or Lacey. But I'm too darn busy staring at the pastry dog. Honestly, can you blame me? Twilight Masquerade. Last, we got Twilight Masquerade. Are you ready for a festival of mischief and mystery? Twilight Masquerade is a really quirky set. Set in the folklore-fueled Kitakami, while the narrative focus revolved around Ogerpon and debut of the Teal Mask. It was a new batch of A-Spec cards that really stole the show when the set released back in May 24, or so we thought. You see, A-Specs are very cool, but they're not as cool as Greninja EX and their flurry of color. Greninja EX was the premium top hit from Twilight Masquerade since day one, but the price has only continued to soar as more time passes. At the time of writing, copy will set you back roughly $350 and hopefully cause some erratic screaming if you're lucky to open one. Ogerpon was bound to appear somewhere on the top of the list in its Teal Mask, Ogerpon EX, that commands the premium. The SIR deviates from the art style of the rest of the set, but that's a good thing. It makes it stand out, and it feels more important. Ogerpon is no match for Eevee. Narumi Sato just knows how to make me go, aww. Yeah, I love this card. Love pulling this card. And spend a fistful of bills on cardboard. At this point, adorable Eevee card feels like a safer investment than gold, and this SIR is no different. Finally, there's some massive full art trainers hidden inside packs. Perrin and Carmen both received SIRs that proved highly coveted and still regularly sell for $70 or so each and every day. So there you have it. That is the most expensive cards in packs right now, starting from Ascended Heroes and going all the way back to Twilight Masquerade. I don't think you're going to find anything later than this in the stores. If you do, you got better luck than I do. Listen, that's it. We got Super Bowl to get to. Go Pats.